Hi, what happened?
Oh, yes, I had explained that it was going to cut because it gave us 40 minutes.
Oh,
Yes. So now we are going,
okay. So
yeah,
what are you gonna do now?
we are going to continue.
What are we going to do now?
We are going to continue from where we left.
So did you send another link?
Yeah, I did
When?
send to even that one, the original one. If people click that previous one, they are still able to come back. So if you are in the group, just tell them to let me just paste the link here because I'm not.
Yes, I did that.
Yes, I'm not in the group where you are, guys. So if you check in the chat box, I have sent you a message there. Just copy it and paste in the group where you are, or you can just tell them to click again the same link. They're able to come back. They should be able to come back.
I did click the same link.
Oh,
I did click the same link. That is why I'm wondering why it's me and you only.
I'm not so sure where the other guys are, but nonetheless,
Okay.
what we can do.
It's fine. I will wait for.
Yeah, we can even just continue, and then since it's a recorded session, they can pick up from where they they were left, right? So maybe let's just continue, and then the other guys will just join us as we go, because we're actually almost done with the slides. So let me just okay, let me just share this. All right. So, like I was saying, this is okay. I see someone just joined in here. All right. Okay, so I think we can continue. All right, that's fine. So we are about to start that that last part where I'm giving you a question. Actually, it was question 2 for a certain assignment. Because remember, your assignments, they're 30 marks, right? So this assignment is 2 questions. So the first question was 15 marks, and then this other question, the second one, was 15 marks again. So this particular question was like, so it's covering unit 2. Let me see, let me share and show you, right, the part that it is okay. So we did about this social business, right? Collaboration. We were talking about the tools, the email, wikis, virtual reality, right? And then some lockers, cyber lockers, right? Which are your Google Drive. Then now, we want to look at, right, systems that are used, unit 3, right? Systems that are used, achieving competitive advantage with information system. So one of the thing that is used to achieve competitive advantage is what is called Porter's 5 forces. So that is what is going to be the question, right, that we're going to be dealing with today. So the question here is saying, present your findings on Porter's 5 forces, analysis to be done on the Woolworths app. So what they did, the question was talking about a Woolworths app, right, where people they can shop online using a Woolworths app, right? So they are saying now present your findings on Porter's 5 forces, right, to be done on that app, focusing on the online shopping aspect, highlighting the competitive advantage that the app provides. All right. So generally, when you are answering this question, is the section in your module which is written achieving competitive advantage with information systems, right? So now there's what we call Porter's competitive 5 forces, right? So generally, what is talking about is we've got what we call new entrants. Don't worry, we're going to talk about it in detail, right? We've got what we call new entrants. We've got what we call supplier power. We've got what we call buyer power. Then we've got what we call a substitute. And then the last one will be the competitive rivalry. So these are the 5 forces that influence a business to be competitive in its environment. So now let's look at what is called the buying, the supplier bargaining power. right? So we are now talking about this force in relation to Woolworths Up, because remember, Woolworths is into what do you call it? It's a supermarket, right? So they sell food, they sell clothes, right? So it's not the only business that does that. There are shops like Checkers, right? There are shops like Pick n Pay. Pick n Pay also, it has got it's a supermarket. It has got Pick n Pay clothing, and it's got Pick n Pay what do you call it, supermarkets also, right? So it's not the only app that sells. It's not the only business that does that, right? So there's ShopRite, there's Pick n Pay, there's Checkers, there's Boxer, You Save, and some other supermarkets that we may not even know. I'm trying to think of another one. I think the name just left me, right? So now we want to see the supplier bargaining power, right? The supplier bargaining power. So this is the supply power there, right? That's what we are looking at here. So supplier bargaining power is generally low to moderate for Woolworths Up, right? In the online shopping industry, right? Especially for Woolworths. The reason for this is that the brand establishes the regulations and suppliers must adhere to the brand's code of conduct. So despite the fact that the number of competitors in the market is increased, right? Suppliers do not have many options and are consequently constrained by the restrictions established by the brands. It is for this reason that online shopping brands have the upper hand and suppliers' bargaining leverage is limited. So what are they saying, right? So this is the theory that you will be writing, right, in a paragraph. So you are explaining the power that the suppliers have. So we are saying the supplier that supplies material to Woolworths, the bargaining power, we're not talking about bargaining power, we're talking about maybe negotiating price, right? Say, you guys, your prices are high and so forth, right? You see, you are buying from us, but you're buying from us, with low, what do you call it? Why don't you maybe buy, instead of buying it from us at maybe 20 rand, why not buy it at 25 rand? Then we will say, guys, I've got so many suppliers. If you don't want to supply me, that's fine. I'll go look for another one. So they are saying the suppliers, they don't have power. That's why we are saying the power there is generally low to moderate, because it is Woolworths now that has got the power. They are saying, you guys, I'm giving you restrictions. If you fail to adhere to these restrictions, we're going to kick you out. If we order something and you don't give it to us within this specified period, then the contract is gone. They don't care, because they know there are so many suppliers out there, right? So the bargaining power of the suppliers when it comes to Woolworths, it is what it is. It is very, very, very low, right? So let's look at the bargaining power of the buyers. These are the customers, right? So in the online shopping market, buyers have a moderate amount of bargaining power. It's because of slew of small and large business have popped up. So customers have no incentive to switch, right? So the modern customer is well informed and has access to all information with a simple aside from that. So several physical retail brands have entered in the commerce sector, and the physical retail market adds to the pressure. So Woolworths works very hard to keep every consumer, right? And they're investing much in technology, customer service to do so, like the creation of the Woolworths app. The purchasers' bargaining power is somewhat high as a result of all these considerations. So the brand image, the product, the service quality, and price are all elements that can influence their negotiating power. So let me explain. So this is just the theory that I was just reading to you, that you understand that if you were to be given such a in an assignment, how do you answer that? So can you see that I'm not writing in a generic sense, but I'm writing it in relation to words, in relation to online commerce. So what are we saying in terms of buyers? We are saying that the bargaining power of buyers here is very, very, very high, because buyers, they've got a lot of options. If Woolworths, right, let's take for instance, Woolworths, they are selling a bottle of 2-liter bottle of Coke for around the 28 rand, right? And you go into Woolworths and you're like, what? 28 rand? And next to Woolworths, there's Checkers or there's ShopRite, and they are selling the same bottle for 24 rand, right? So obviously, if Woolworths if their products are so much expensive, it means that they don't have power to stop the buyers from going somewhere else again. So that's why we are saying the bargaining power of the buyers themselves is very, very, very high. Because once the price is so high, this year people are complaining that, you know, the whole world is going into recession, right? So people want to what do you call it? They want to preserve money, right? They want to save. They want to buy as much as they can, but as little as they can also, right? So obviously people are going to go around, shop around. Which shop sells this at the lowest price? Which shop sells this at the lowest price? So the bargaining power of you as a buyer here is high, because you are the one who's going to buy the product. So you will determine whether you're going to buy or not, and it is dependent on the quality, on the service, and on the price itself. All right. So let's look at the threat of substitute product. All right. So in terms of replacement for Woolworths, there are two key threats. So we are saying that Woolworths has got products, has got stuff that they are selling, right? So we want to see the threat. Is the threat low or high for substitute products to come in? So we are saying in terms of replacement for Woolworths, there are two key threats. The first are competitive e-commerce companies, right? And the second are traditional retailers. Brands attempt to gain a competitive advantage by offering lower costs but higher product quality or a better overall consumer experience, right? There are no switching fees for customers, and they may easily move from one retailer to e-retailer to another, or from one online shopping to a physical retail. So what they're just saying is the threat of substitute products is very, 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 very high. All right. You see, where it's coming from here is what Woolworths is aiming for is to offer a product of good quality, but at a lower cost. Because once they say this product is of high quality, therefore it is expensive, then less people are going to what? Are going to look for the same product. It may not be, right, the same product like the name, but it might be let's take for an example that issue of Coke, a bottle of Coke, right? A person gets in Woolworths, they see a bottle of Coke, 28 rand, and they're like, no man, this is too much. And next to the Woolworths, maybe, I know that it's impractical, but let's say that's what is happening, right? Then there's a cooler shop there, this spaza shop, right? They get into a spaza shop, they see, right, Pepsi is comparable to Coke, right? They see Twizzler, right? Twizzler is also, they've got also a flavor that is similar to Coke. They see Kingsley, they've got a what? A flavor comparable to Coke. So what the customer now says, what I just need is a cold drink. Now it doesn't matter whether it's Coke or not Coke, because Coke is expensive. What I just need is a cold drink. So what they end up doing is they end up buying a product with half the price. Pizza, buy it at 10 rand, right? Kingsley, 10 rand. You see, almost half the price. So that's the threat of a substitute product. So the threat is so high. That's why now brands, they attempt to gain a competitive advantage by offering lower cost, but at the same time maintaining the quality. So now let's look at another facet or another force, which is called the new entrants. When I'm talking about new entrants, is the newbies that are coming in, right? So as for Woolworths, the threat of new entrants is low to moderate. So there is no threat that a new business like Woolworths is going to overtake Woolworths, right? The threat is very, very, very low. Why is the threat very low? This is due to the fact that significant investment in technology, human resource marketing are required. The entry obstacles are moderately high for you to have a big supermarket, a very, very, very big supermarket with no name. From nowhere, people are waking up to say there is a supermarket called Grab, right? And they're like, Grab, it's a big supermarket. Look at these guys. I think, let me give a very practical example. There is a new supermarket that is coming up. I'm not so sure if you guys, you have taken notice of it. It's called Plus, right? I don't know where you are from, maybe Johannesburg or somewhere. It's a small supermarket. It's not that big. You can't find it in malls. You can't find it maybe where there are big shops. But when you go to certain areas, you just say, the supermarket. Okay, it's called Plus. It's not run by the cooler guys, right? Or the Indian guys. These are white people that are running this business. It's called Plus. So what is happening is it's an upcoming business, which might be a threat to Woolworths. Maybe 10 years down the line, who may know, who knows? Maybe it will be as well known as ShopRite, as well known as what? As Checkers itself, because it's coming up, right? It's coming up. As more as it is, it's gaining momentum, right? So those guys now, to enter into such a business, the entry itself that is needed for a business to be established like that, it's very, very high. They need, human resources. They need marketing. They need enough capital. You see, so it's a sacrifice. So Woolworths, they already know that only a few guys, if someone has got money today, if someone wins lotto today, right, they won't be thinking of opening a business like Woolworths, because there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of work that's needed for you to have such thing. So a person was like, no, let me try to look for another venture which is easy and that gives me money pretty fast. All right. So the challenge, however, is in establishing a brand image and gaining customers' trust, of which in this case of Woolworths, it's an already well-established brand here in South Africa. As a result, the overall threat posed to newcomers is reduced because of the quality of things that are sold at Woolworths, right? Those guys, they are so confident of their brand that's why you see sometimes when you go to Woolworths, you see mango, like a simple mango. It's season for mangoes, right? You can find that two mangoes are costing at around 50 rand. But those two mangoes, they are not just your simple mango, like the mangoes that you'll find on the street, right? Those ones will be of high quality. They will be sweet. They might be big and they will be sweet. All right, guys, can you hear me? Hello?